Hi students, are you all ready? Now let's begin our new chapter.
Our second chapter is adaptations in plants. Look around you. You see plants everywhere. How do these plants survive in the different conditions around them? How are they adapted to their environment? Do you know what adaptation means? Adaptation is the changing process or feature by which a living thing can survive in its habitat. It is the changing process or feature by which a living thing survive in its habitat. Then what is meant by habitat? It is a natural home of a living thing or the place where a living thing live. It is a natural home of a living thing. Plants live and grow in different places. There are mainly two types of plants. They are terrestrial plants and aquatic plants. Terrestrial means land. So, terrestrial plants are the plants that grow on land. The plants that grow on land are called terrestrial plants. For example, cactus, banyan tree, teak, they all grow on land. So we can say they are terrestrial plants. Then what about aquatic plants? Aqua means water. So aquatic plants are the plants that grow in water. Plants that grow in water are called aquatic plants. The example are water lily, lotus, etc. Plants want sunlight, soil and water to grow. Now we will discuss about terrestrial plants. There are different types of terrestrial plants. They are plants in plains, plants on mountains and hills, plants in deserts, plants in areas of heavy rainfall, plants in muddy swamps, plants in coastal areas. Today, we will discuss about the first two types of terrestrial plants. That is, plants in plains and plants on mountains. Now, we will discuss about plants in plains. You see a large variety of plants in plains. Some of them are neem, banyan, gulmohar, etc. These plants grow mostly in plain or flat surface. They have more branches and leaves. Most of these plants grow in warm climate and shed their leaves in winter or autumn in order to protect from the cold. Most of these plants grow in warm climate and shed their leaves in winter or autumn season in order to protect them from the cold. Now let's watch a video.
Tia, why do trees lose their leaves in the autumn season? Before telling you why trees shed their leaves, do you know, Tofu, how trees get their energy? Energy? Yes, energy. Just like we eat food to get energy, trees make their food too to get energy. How do they make their food? Trees use sunlight from the sun and water from the ground to make their food. The leaves use the sunlight and water to make food. But I didn't understand, why do they shed leaves? When the winters set in, the days become shorter and the sunlight is hardly available. So when sunlight is not available, the trees cannot make food. Rather than continuing to make food with little sunlight, they go in a rest position by shedding their leaves. This way, they use very little energy and have just enough water and nutrition stored in their trunks to stay alive till spring arrives. When spring arrives, the temperature goes up and there is more sunlight. New leaves grow and cover the tree once more.
That was a video about leaves shedding leaves. Now let's move on to our next topic. Plants on mountains. The plants that live on mountains or hills can survive the cold weather. This is because they have adaptations that protect them from the snow. Now let's discuss about them. These trees are generally cone-shaped. The trees that grow on mountains are mostly conical in shape. This helps the snow to slide off through their branches. The leaves are needle-like with a waxy coating. The leaves for the plants on mountains are needle-like. This is to prevent any damage from the snow. The examples for plants on mountains are fir, pine, cedar, etc. Now let's watch a video on plants on mountains.
Sid and Neil have come to a hilly region to be a part of their school camp. Look, they are walking on a road and enjoying the beauty of nature.
It is so beautiful here. Look at these pine trees. Aren't they beautiful? Yes, they are. But Sid, it is so cold here. The wind is chilling. I'm sure these trees must also find it difficult to cope with this extremely cold climate.
Well, kids, there is no doubt that hilly regions have extremely cold climate. However, these hilly areas are the natural habitat of pine trees. Pine trees have some special adaptations that help them to survive in hilly regions. Let's discuss about these adaptations. The first adaptation is the shape of these trees. They have a conical shape. During snowfall, the conical shape allows the snow to slip off easily from the branches of a pine tree. The next adaptation is in the leaves of pine trees. Pine trees have needle-like leaves, which are very tough. This helps the leaves to survive in the cold and snow. Look at the leaves. They are so fresh and green even in this extremely cold climate. More interestingly, these trees do not shed leaves throughout the year. Another adaptation of pine trees is that they have cones in place of flowers. These cones protect their seeds in harsh winters. Such cone-bearing trees like pine are also called coniferous trees or simply conifers. So these are the adaptations that make it easy for pine trees to survive in hilly regions. Not only the pine trees, there are many other coniferous trees like cedar, fir, and spruce that have similar adaptations to survive in winter.
This will be for today's session, today's homework. What is meant by adaptation? What is meant by habitat? What are the two types of plants? Write two examples each for plants in plains and plants on mountains. What is meant by adaptation? What is meant by habitat? What are the two types of plants? Write 2 examples each for plants in plains and plants on mountains. Thank you. Have a nice day.